Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am the OutbackAl,
I'm NV Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
and we're a touch on the short staff side today, but still chugging right along all the same. We decided on a meme tournament last time, and this is our first entry of 4 for what are possibly the most memed movies. We watched Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith this week, and marveled at the impeccable writing and things from the mind of George Lucas. And you're a big Star Wars fan. What praise can you heap upon Revenge of the Sith?
I mean, I have an interesting story with Revenge of the Sith. It was actually the first Star Wars I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. Like, Episode 3 was the first.
Really?
Yeah, Episode 3. The order in which I watched the original 6 films is one of the most bizarre things I don't recommend on anybody.
Okay, do tell. What order?
3, 5, 1, 4, 2, 6.
Okay, I feel like you just gave me, like, your password to something. That's weird,
No,
man.
I shit you not. That's the order in which I watched the original 6 films.
Not recommended?
I mean, luckily I wasn't confused, but
I feel like you should be. This is weird. Well,
yeah, most people say, oh, you should watch the prequels first, or you should watch the originals first. No, do the NV Jitters method. Just be completely crazy.
I kind of like to watch them backwards.
It wasn't until, I think maybe high school was the time where I realized that it went 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. I thought it was just completely scrambled, like how you described it.
I mean, obviously, when it comes to the history of Star Wars, when it came out in 1977, it was just called Star Wars. And then, I believe in 1980, George Lucas called it Empire Strikes Back. But then, a few years later, he called it Empire Strike Episode 5. And then Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, came out. And then people were like, well, wait a minute.
I don't exactly remember when he delineated between the episode thing. I feel like that might have been a thing that occurred after he started doing the re-releases and he knew he was going to have like the prequels coming out. But I could be very wrong there. Yeah, just I mean, is this one's generally regarded as the best of the prequel trilogy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, and subjectively, not objectively, subjectively, it's actually my third favorite film in the franchise.
Okay.
Not saying it's the third best film, but it's my third favorite.
You have your likes. So I don't think we need to take a long time going over the plot of this because I feel like most people have probably seen this at some point or another, or at least aware of it.
I saw a description, I believe, on Reddit or YouTube that pretty much described this movie. Angry boy goes to the dark side because he doesn't get a job promotion and wants to save his wife. The end.
Yeah.
He's a Karen!
More or less. It's the end of the war. Shit's going down. Meet General Grievous. Dooku dies pretty quick. I mean, yeah. It seems to be a little bit of... It's supposed to be a back and forth kind of... Not necessarily spy espionage thing, but Anakin's kind of like... Palpatine puts him to I want you on the Jedi Council to tell me what they're doing. And the Jedi are like, hey, we want you on the council, but we want you to tell us what he's doing. And just kind of goes back and forth with Anakin being like, well, who should my allegiance lie with? Until finally he decides, I'm going dark side because maybe I can save my wife.
Save my wife.
Yep. And it doesn't work out.
No.
So, because we know what happens.
It also has the most
series.
Lightsaber duels in all the films with 5.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, you knew I think they knew this was gonna be their last prequel because, it picks up after that in the original thing, so they had to kind of have a little bit of a blowout. So, upon rewatch, how's everybody feeling about the overall product?
I will say this. George Lucas knows how to tell an overarching story. It's just individual screenplay dialogue he definitely needs help in, and that's where uh why episodes 5 and 6 worked really well, because he had somebody else write the script and produce and direct. So
yeah,
he's like a good behind the scenes man.
He's a really good big picture guy. But yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know why he decided to direct these ones after, like, because I feel like he famously said after directing the first Star Wars movie, he was like, I'm not doing this again. And
maybe because he knew, because he's George Lucas, by like the late 90s, early 2000s, he's, you know, the legendary creator. It's like
I think it went to his head.
He knew, okay, no one's going to tell me what to do. This is going to be my baby, my creation. I've had this draft in my head for 40 years or 30 years. I'm going to write this.
Yeah, but the other ones worked well because he worked with other people and enough people told him, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't... This is... I don't have a source for this, but I feel like I remember seeing something about the original opening crawl was supposed to be like 9 paragraphs.
Yeah.
And someone was like, dude, cut it down to 3 at most.
I read this in an interview either this year or late last year, but his ex-wife, Marcia Lucas, and 2 other people were like the main editors on the original film, and they pretty much saved that film, like in the cutting room floor. Like, the film would have probably been a disaster if it was released in the way that George Lucas had filmed it.
Yeah, I think he just... The man seems to love world building, which I think is like the number one thing you can really take out of these movies. That I think there's a lot of great world building elements here. It's just the characters and everybody else is kind of dropped by the wayside a little bit. Gee, should we get into the memes, or what should we? Do we have anything else to say on the movie as a whole?
I mean, what do you guys think of it?
I definitely think, like a lot of people are saying, it's one of the better entries from the prequels, and I think that's partially because I guess they were kind of focusing the story a little bit more on what was supposed to be happening, and like, I know that Padme and Anakin, for as stilted, wooden, you know, describe however you want to call their dialogue in that, it, like, they're supposed to be the main through line in like their love story in this time of war kind of thing, and I think it was good to kind of focus on that a little bit. It was done much better than in Attack on the Clones, or Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones has a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's probably it's between that and 9 for my least favorite film in the franchise.
Yeah, I think something I didn't really notice before was like how like quickly things move around in this one.
Yeah, this film was I haven't watched this film in a long time. Probably there was a person I knew in college who wanted me to watch all the Star Wars movies with her, and so we watched all 6 of them. And so like it's been 5 or 6 years since I've actually watched these films in full. And yeah, I was honestly surprised how fast paced this film was. Like some of the scenes in the first third of the film kind of dragged a little bit, but that's just mainly because it's Anakin and Padme talking. Oh, I want to save you. Or you're going to die in childbirth. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, and then like they move on to like the actual plot, and they're like, here, get it done in 30 seconds because we need to move on fast. And I'm like,
yeah, I will say this. Upon rewatching the film, I don't think Hayden is as bad in this film as he was in Attack of the Clones. Like,
no, I mean, there's a reason Attack of the Clones is the worst.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that hated on Hayden Christensen, because I don't think you shade on any actor for a performance, but I can understand why people disliked him in Attack of the Clones, because the character wasn't likable as shit.
No.
And in Revenge of the Sith, I will say this: he's better at his line delivery, but he's really good when he doesn't speak. And I'm not trying to say like he's mean; like he captures the angry Anakin into Vader vibe really well.
You know, I think you're right. There's a lot of really good shots of him in this movie, especially like on Mustafar, where you're kind of like, honestly, I think like a lot of stuff, like especially the Mustafar sequences, I think that was what they really wanted to do, and they really did a great job with it, especially like the fights, the scenery, everything on there was really great. He's actually not a bad actor. I mean, he's not, you know, fucking Daniel Day-Lewis or anything, but like I've seen him in some other movies with like people who know how to direct other people, and he's not bad.
Not Little Italy.
Oh yes, I did see him in that. I saw him in that, and there's another one. Fucking what was it? I forget what it's called, but he's with Nicolas Cage. They're like crusaders from.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of
China.
it.
It's weird. I love Nick Cage. He's playing like some sort of psychotic Gene Simmons character. It's really bizarre, but like yeah, no, he's yeah. I mean, but like you can look at anything else in this movie.
I mean, Natalie Portman's an Oscar-winning actress, and she barely did anything in this film other than being pregnant.
I think the only people who kind of came out of this with like like, oh, you did a good job with your character were either actors who were like, I'm just going to do whatever I want with this character, like Samuel L. Jackson, who even he's kind of like doesn't really have a whole lot of direction, or people who already have established characters like Obi-Wan and Palpatine. They're without a doubt the two best people in this entire trilogy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why everyone's excited for the Kenobi show next year.
Yeah, I mean, like, part of it is, like, they basically, I think, like, Palpatine's, like, without a doubt the most charismatic person in this entire trilogy, for one thing. And, like, it's just, like, all I have to do is be evil, conniving, and just mug at the camera every now and then. He mugs a lot in this one. And then,
like in the first two prequel films, he was like the guy behind the scenes while also putting on the facade. And then, but this one is the one where he really shines. Like,
because
we'll talk about his memes in this film in a little bit.
He already had the evil Dark Lord thing down, and then he's like, well, what should I do for when I'm not evil Dark Lord? I'll just do the exact opposite. So he knew, like, it's not like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, but it's a little bit like a Jekyll and Hyde thing. And I think that worked for it. And Obi-Wan, I mean, he had Alec Guinness to work off of, and I think it's kind of like De Niro in The Godfather Part 2 when he was playing young Brando, and he was just like, well, who would this person be younger? And then he won an Oscar for it. I think, or was he nominated for that? I forget whether he won or not. I think he won, because that was like two different guys playing the same character, and they both won for it. I'm going to have to double check that, but yeah. Praise out of the way. Memes?
Oh yes, I sent you a list, Al, of as I rewatched the film, and I separated into two categories. One that was, you know, memes that are used by the general internet, and memes that are specifically used by the Star Wars fandom. Because I'm sure there's some that you're probably wondering how the hell this became a meme.
Well, yeah, some of these were just kind of like quotes. I was like, is there a meme in that? I think to some degree we do need to talk about like how we're going to be judging like what's a meme, what's a thing, like because like I feel like there's a lot of times where a movie can be very quotable, but the quote outside of the movie doesn't make sense, or it's like it's kind of just whatever. Like I feel like to be a meme, you kind of have to have like a bit of a transformative kind of quality. Like I don't want to spoil some of the memes already, but like. You need, like, a bit of, like, something as a reaction, or, like, some sort of template, like, blah, 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 blank. You know, you can insert sort of things into a situation. Like,
I'll just say this. I've seen, in every one of the general memes that I've sent you, I've seen outside of the Star Wars fandom at some point.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't know what's a general meme and what isn't on here, because it's just a list.
Oh, it wasn't. I thought I put it in boldface for you.
You put like every one of them was. It was like just back and forth. It was like non-bolded, bolded, non-bolded, bolded, non-bolded, bolded. So I don't know like what was.
Oh yeah, I said bolded was for the Star Wars fandom, and non-bolded was general.
Okay, meme is a meme. Yeah. Why don't we? Why don't you start us off? You know, we can kind of like judge like meme, not a meme, general meme, Star Wars meme, because I kind of feel like sometimes it's not always easy to go with like a meme about the thing itself, because that's really just for one thing. I kind of think like the most powerful memes are the ones that kind of like you can push this beyond whatever it's in, and it works universally, kind of thing. So what do we got?
Well, I pretty much listed them in the order in which they appeared in the film, and
Makes sense.
yeah, one of the first lines Anakin says is, "This is where the fun begins," and
excellent meme, perfect for reactions.
Yeah, I've seen so many out of context pictures or videos, and then Anakin below is just like, "This is where the fun begins," and just, I can't
excellent
really.
Meme, perfect.
Second one is not technically specific to this film because it's used in every Star Wars film, but I have a bad feeling about this. Like,
like it's on the one hand, I definitely agree with you. I think that can be like a bit of a meme here and there, but like if it's just a general thing for the entirety of the series, you know, you could really have anyone saying this. I mean, like I feel like who else has said it? Like C-3PO, probably like some other people.
Like everyone.
Yeah, so at a certain point, it's like, is this specific to this movie? I don't know for sure. It's kind of like the Wilhelm scream. The Wilhelm scream in and of itself is a meme, but I don't know if it's a specific meme just for this movie.
Right.
I would semi-count it. I'd give it
more a meme in canon.
I give
like
it a half a point, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly been around long enough and clearly in the popular consciousness.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Number 3 is a specific meme for the Star Wars fandom, not general. Sith Lords are a speciality. The only reason... I don't even know why that became a meme in the fandom. I guess because Obi-Wan usually gets his ass kicked by Sith Lords, so I guess that makes sense. Like, he barely beat Maul. He lost to Dooku twice, and got killed by Vader in the end, so I don't know, maybe that's why it became a meme.
I don't know on this one.
Like
so
I said,
it's one of those ones where like you take it out of the context of Star Wars, does it make sense?
No, that's why I said specific to the Star Wars fandom, not general.
Well, I don't know that I would give them a point for this one. On the other hand, I feel like it could be a very good template meme, I just haven't seen it. Like, you could have this kind of like as a reactionary kind of thing, like, oh, this happened. This thing is our speciality. I mean, like, really, it's just an open sentence. You could replace Sith with anything. I just don't know that I've seen it that often as a thing.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Point? No point?
Well, I mean, no point. I don't expect any of the Star Wars specific memes to get any points.
Okay. So we got like a 1.5 right now, I think.
And then next one, Count Dooku, whenever they're fighting, I'm looking forward to this. I've seen that so many points for like something exciting happens, or like something weird happens or sexy happens, and I see memes where it's just underneath, I'm looking forward to this.
I haven't. I gotta be honest, and I really feel like you could easily replace that with "This is where the fun begins."
I've seen both.
I haven't seen both. I really feel like this is definitely overshadowed by "This is where the fun begins." If you're saying it's a meme, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that outside of the Star Wars thing.
Granted, I go on Reddit a lot, so I see that on Reddit a lot.
You're deep in the memes.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is a specific Star Wars meme, not for general. Count Dooku, another quote, twice the pride, double the fall. A lot of Star Wars fans like to use that quote as well, like especially whenever like when people expect something exciting and then rest of the people shit talk on them for that. A lot of people say stuff like that. Palpatine, one of his first memes is next. Do it. Like, just
100% a meme.
Do it. Just do it. Ian McDermott, like, say what you will about the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy, he is a treat in all 3 trilogies.
They did not give him enough time to shine in Rise of Skywalker, quite frankly. It might have been a better movie had they done so.
I mean, he even said do it in that film too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. They were clear. We're not going to get into a whole thing about the sequel trilogies.
Well, no.
overall issues, but I think a lot of it comes from just we're really trying to ride the wave of what everyone likes, and you are pleasing nobody by trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
So I think incorporating something that is clearly at this point a meme into your movie is indicative of that.
Yeah.
That being said, do it. Definitely a meme. Definitely gotta have that. What's that? 2.5 points at this point?
Yeah. Next one is a specific Star Wars meme, activate ray shields. That's just a lot of people use that in the Star Wars chat. Next one.
I don't know about that one, but I do think the how did this happen? We're smarter than this. I don't know that I've seen it that much, but that is such a good, like, thing. You could use that for anything.
Yeah, I've seen that one once or twice. It has potential, but no one picked up on it yet.
I'd give it half a point. Because, like, it's such a good, like, how did we're smarter than this. Like, how is that not used more? Because I really feel like a lot of, like, especially in the last couple of years, a lot of dumb shit has happened. How have people not reacted with that more often?
How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
All right, half a point?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a plan B? That's a specific Star Wars meme for now, but I think that one could have a potential. Like if someone, like you see a video of like someone's plan going wrong or someone's idea goes wrong, and just, do you have a plan B?
I feel like I've heard the idea of a plan B in like so many movies though, and movies and TV. I don't know that I could, like, it's one of those things of like, we're really drawing it from here kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to wonder that kind of thing, and that's the only reason I'd say no.
There's a really, really unfortunate ripoff of B movie called Plan B. That's all I can think of.
Well, joy of 1,000 joys.
This one is kind of specific because I've seen Yes, the Negotiator in posts where like people
see
like there's
I feel like a couple of these you split up, but I feel like they're all part of the same thing. The Negotiator. I was expecting someone with your reputation to be a little older. You're shorter than I expected. I feel like you can kind of put them all into kind of the same thing. You can
but some lines are more famous than others. Like your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection. That one's more popular than Yes, the Negotiator, but they've all been taken out of like that's the thing about prequel memers. Like prequel memers are specific people that make specific memes about the prequel trilogy and its lines because they're more than likely the people that grew up with the films. So that's why I say specific to Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's great for like when you're being specific for Star Wars and that. I do like memes about Star Wars, but if we're talking like memes that anyone can use for anything, I don't know that interaction goes that well. Because like you really have to change around a lot of stuff if you're gonna like incorporate that somewhere else.
Yeah.
The lightsabers make a fine addition to my collection. I feel like that could be used somewhere. But I'm wondering where.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else we got?
Time to abandon ship. I've seen that so many times. Like when something goes wrong, like a vehicle or something like that. Just or like a plan goes awry, and it's just like, oh no, something's going off the deep end. Time to abandon ship or something like that.
I could see that one maybe.
Same thing with when they crash.
What do you think?
There's another one about crashing a ship, isn't there?
Yeah, another happy landing. Right when they crash the ship.
I've seen that one more.
That one I think I've seen a couple times. It's kind of like I think this one's really good for like creating reaction memes. This is where the fun begins. Another happy landing. Yeah, I think that one I would count before I would count the time to abandon ship thing. I don't really feel like I see that one that much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is just me listing all the potential memes. This is not me having a definitive list.
Yeah, we're just like trying to figure out like, we say this is a good one. Is this a point? Is this not a point?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm not brave enough for politics. I kind of put that.
I don't
one
know about
on
that
there.
one. The next one though. I don't know about that one. That feels like a specific thing, but the next one. This whole operation is your idea.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times.
10,000% a meme. That might be a contender for...
I was looking at that today.
Yeah, that might be a contender for biggest meme in this movie.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like there's some other
one
contenders.
Coming.
I know. I'm saying that we should have some contenders. I don't think we should ever be like, oh, this is definitively the best meme in this movie.
Well,
there
true.
should be an argument. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole I love that meme so much.
Yeah, it's good. It's one of those ones you could just like put whatever you want in there. Like this blank, you could use it on its own as a reaction, or you can replace operation with whatever you want. It's very versatile, and I think that's what I like in a good meme.
It's just so you can use it for like almost anything. Like someone's getting pissed off that their plan didn't work, or like, oh no, or like, oh no, I didn't say that, or I didn't plan that. Well, hold on, this whole operation was your idea.
I feel like we missed out on a really good meme because it wasn't in the official movie, but there's a deleted scene where Anakin speaks binary because he's trying to figure out what R2 is saying.
Yep.
And I feel like Obi-Wan in that scene is just like, oh my, what are you? This is so over my head right now that you're speaking robot, like actual robot.
Yeah.
And trying to, like, ask me what it means.
Yeah.
But
the next two are not general at all, but they're so popular in the prequel Star Wars community because of just... Well, the first one because it's such a bad line. So love has blinded you? Like, George Lucas cannot write romance dialogue, but we've discovered that. Like, that whole sequence on the balcony. You are so beautiful.
It's because I'm so in love.
So love has blinded you?
No. You're supposed to then say the Anakin line. We're doing a back and forth here.
Oh.
No, because it's because I'm so in love with you. Is no one gonna respond to me? Damn it!
Oh no, I know, I forgot, but yeah,
get in the game, man.
No, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. And then the second one, people love to make fun of the fact that Anakin, being the chosen one, while balanced to the Force, was one of the most powerful Sith Lords ever, never got the rank of Jedi Master, and people in the Star Wars fandom just love teasing him for that so often.
Is this the, you're on the council, but we do not grant you the rank of Master thing?
Yes.
100% a meme. You could plug that into literally anything. Like, I've seen that used in a number of different, like, the full dialogue, I don't know. But, like, at the very least, the, you're this, but we do not grant you the rank of this. This is outrageous. This is unfair.
Yeah.
Like, use it anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What's next?
Take a seat, young. That's a specific Star Wars meme. Same thing for the what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? It does not make sense out of context at all, but for some reason the prequel memers just love that line. Maybe because like they were talking about one thing and then that character Ki-Adi-Mundi just completely shifted topics for no reason at all.
No, I think it works. I wish that was more of a meme because it kind of works as like because Samuel L. Jackson can't say motherfucker or fuck in this movie. It's his way of basically being like, sit down and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work out of the well, it could work out of the context. I just don't think anyone's ever used it.
Yeah, like, no, it's specifically a Star Wars fandom meme. Like yeah. I don't know why it became popular, but it just is.
Because it's a perfect response to anything. I know there's a ton of discourse in the Star Wars fandom, no matter what. And anytime you want to shut someone up, just be like, take a seat.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing with It's Settled Then. Like, again, that's like anytime like someone makes a point that they think is right, people love to joke on Star Wars on Reddit. It's like, it's settled then. Like, or you're starting to sound like a separatist. Like
yeah, stuff like that I feel like is very much in the Star Wars fandom, but at the same time it feels so general it could have been a meme and just never was. Like in a broader sense. Yeah.
Yeah, next one, when Anakin and Padme are having like their 3,000th talk, like Padme was like, "Do you think that we're on the wrong side of the war? And can you talk to the Chancellor for me?" "Don't ask me to do that." just which I think that could be used like if you're like trying to ask somebody online to do something that you don't want to do, and then it's just like, "Don't ask me to do that."
I like it. It's just, and again, this is another one of those ones where like this has a lot of potential and yet was never used, kind of thing.
Yeah. The next one is
kind of skipping around a little bit.
No, it's fine. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I would have loved for that whole sequence to become something bigger. I feel like maybe only one or two things really I feel like I've seen outside of the context. It wasn't Plagueis the Wise, though. Unless you're using, like, the full scene as, like, a big comic strip kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, that scene had so many memorable lines. Like, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities. Some consider to be unnatural.
That is a perfect one. I actually would definitely count that one as a meme, because I feel like that's one of those, like, just reaction ones. That, ironic, like, you see anything... Maybe that one, I don't know.
Himself, but from death, but not himself.
I don't know about that one as much. Maybe. Like, I mean, the ironic part is good. I think, like, you could plug and play whatever you need.
Ironic part.
And then, is it possible to learn this power? Like, someone describes something really weird, or like someone's trying to mix different foods into like a weird ass concoction, or like someone suggests, oh, do this to do this, or something like that. It's like, is it possible to learn this power?
I'm gonna say this, because I've definitely seen the dark side of the fourth pathway to many ability, the unnatural thing. I've seen his reaction to literally any sort of weird, how did that happen picture.
Yeah.
And people are just like, the dark side is a pathway to blah, blah, blah. Ironic, also good reaction, though I don't think I'm seeing it that much. I give that half a point. And I would give the is it possible to learn this power half a point, too, because I feel like those are so versatile.
Yeah.
Possibly underused, but I feel like I have seen them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Goodbye Old Friend it's a wholesome meme, because like it's usually used when like a beloved celebrity or you know, someone that people look up to passes away. I see that so often. Like whenever someone passes away, I always see Goodbye Old Friend or something like that. So it's a wholesome meme.
I don't know that I've seen that, but if you're saying that you have, I'm willing to count it. I feel like I usually see stuff, like, especially if it's like an actor or someone who played like an important character or something, it's usually something that was already in the thing for them.
I mean, more often than not, I hear press F, because that infamous Call of Duty meme where press F to pay respect. So everyone, like, whenever something sad or bad happens or someone dies, it's like F in the chat, boys, and yeah.
Sometimes I put that in my brother's Twitch chat. I'll be like F if he messes up or something, and Jace will be like, just type fuck. I'm like, no, I'm paying my respects.
And then the next one is one of the biggest memes in the whole franchise. Hello there.
Hello there.
I think you skipped over May the Force Be With You. I know you had it on there, but I was going to be like, I don't know that that's a meme so much as just like a general thing.
Yeah, but yeah. Hello there, General Kenobi. I mean, who hasn't seen that at this point?
I'm trying to figure out whether that's like a Star Wars specific, or whether people have used that other places or not.
That got big on TikTok, actually.
Did it?
Somebody would pop out and be like, hello there.
All right,
and
I'll count it.
Another one.
Hello there.
Usually they would have a second person on their back to give themselves the extra set of arms.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
The best one I've ever seen was
God, the prequels have been having a resurgence lately.
Yeah. It was one guy who was standing up, and instead of like having the second guy piggybacking on him, he was just like carrying him like around the stomach, and the guy he was holding 2 pool noodles, and he had 2 taped to his feet. He was just like being held sideways. It was so good. I can never find it though.
Yeah.
That's a general meme at this point. Like, there's people that never seen the prequel trilogy that know what that. At the very least, it's one of those lines where it's like it's funny enough on its own to where even if you don't know the context, it's still pretty funny. Hello there.
I'm going to throw out there as well. I'm going to give a point to the I've been trained in your Jedi arts thing. Now, the specific line of it, I feel like is very specific to Star Wars. I feel like it wasn't, but it could have been manipulated for a meme. Like, I've been training your blank, whatever. But I feel like just General Grievous pulling out all the arms and lighting the lightsabers has been, like, edited a bunch of different times.
Oh, yeah.
To include a number of different things.
Oh, yeah, there's edits where he has, like, 60 lightsabers. There was one edit where Obi-Wan has 4 arms. There was one edit where someone photoshopped the lightsaber where his head is, and then he pulled out, and it's 4 Grievous heads.
I saw one where it was actually a Phantom Menace thing where Qui-Gon was like, I've been trained in the Jedi arts by Count Dooku, and then he's got like 16 lightsabers going against Darth Maul.
Nice. I actually haven't seen that one. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, it's like some people have really in these movies have really good reaction faces, and Darth Maul actually has a really good one for that particular picture, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, I definitely count that as a point.
Yeah. And then, like, when they're, like, in the middle of the fighting, once the clones attack, General Grievous says, "You must realize you are doomed." That's kind of a specific one for the fandom, but I could maybe see that branch out. Like, "You must realize you are doomed," or something like that. Because, like, that's, like, a villain line in general.
I get that. I get what you're saying. And I'm trying to think of, like, transformatively, how would you use that somewhere as a meme to, like, make it a more, like, universal kind of general thing you could use. But I feel like you would probably use something more along the lines of, like, the Bugs Bunny line, like, "You realize this means war."
Yeah.
Or something like that instead. Like, I feel like that's just a way more accessible thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I count that one.
Yeah. And then when Obi-Wan kills Grievous with the blaster, he just is like, "So uncivilized." And I feel like that's kind of like a throwback line to the first film where he said, like,
yeah.
But
more civilized weapon for a more civilized time.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Half a point. I think it's a good reaction to something. I don't know that I've seen it a ton, but I feel like that's a perfect reaction. Kind of like, I have a bad feeling about this, or this is where the fun begins. Like, there's a lot of really good, like, reaction potential here.
Yeah.
Like, literally anyone does anything, like, just does an asshole move or something. It's like, so uncivilized.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah. The next one is one of the biggest Star Wars memes, like, ever, but you can't really use it outside of Star Wars. "I am the Senate." Like, everyone refers to Palpatine in the fandom as either the Senate or Sheev. Nobody actually calls him by Darth Sidious or Emperor Palpatine in the fandom. They only call him by the Senate or Sheev, because that's his actual real first name, Sheev. And
Sheev?
Yeah, Sheev. Yeah,
but it's spelled like Shiv.
Yeah,
like a prison shiv.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone just loves to say, "Oh, the Senate is back," or this. Like, again, it does not make sense at all out of context, but in context, I crack up every time I hear it.
Okay, here's my thoughts on that. You're right. On its own, the line on its own, and I think that's like part of like the part of my issue with the list is like so many of these are just lines on their own, and like they're good lines, but like they don't work. But like when you combine this with some of the other stuff going on in the scene, it's about a group of people confronting a guy for doing something bad and him not admitting to it. He's just like, "You know what? Screw you guys. I'm doing this." I really feel like that has a lot of meme potential. You could like put anything you want in there. Like,
well, I mean, there are other lines from that scene too. Like, it's
but I would include that in there. The it's treason. Then it's like, "We're arresting you for this. It's treason." Then, and then even include the spin and scream thing. I feel like altogether that could be a solid meme.
Yeah,
like Unlimited broken down power. Individually. I don't know broken down individually if those work on their own, but like I think together, I think I would give them all a point together.
Yeah. The unlimited power, I've seen that so often. Like, if like someone's like using a weird technology thing or something like that, I've seen, or like people like using the max or something like that, I've seen reactions where people respond with unlimited, and of course, just for over the top that line delivery is.
I think that I think that's a good meme.
And then same thing with Execute Order 66. Like think of something bad happening, but then also make it hilarious at the same time. Like I can't really think of a specific example, but I've seen.
I'm debating a little bit because it is a little bit specific. Because if you say Execute Order 66, you have to have knowledge of Star Wars to know what Execute Order 66 means. But you're right, it can be used basically anywhere so long as you know where the initial thing came from.
Yeah.
You yell unlimited power, I feel like that's... Or like any of the other reaction things. You don't need to see Star Wars to use this whole operation was your idea. Like the line on its own says everything. Execute Order 66, I give a half point to. Because I feel like enough people know Order 66 to start killing people. But I think it requires just enough knowledge to be like, all right, we're not going to give you the full everyone can use you kind of point.
Yeah. The next one is very specific to Star Wars because it's just, the whole scene of Master Skywalker, there are too many of them, what are we going to do? And then you don't see it on screen, but just like the fact that like Anakin woke up at the start of that day as a Jedi, and then immediately went to go slaughtering everybody, including infant toddlers. Like, that's one of the things I give a little bit of a shit for with that film, because I can understand why emotionally Anakin would want to turn to the dark side, but the fact that like he just went from like 0 to 100 really quick.
Oh, yeah. I actually think that that's kind of a dumb move by Palpatine. I know there's the rule of 2 with the Sith, but it was, like, never really, like, established in the movies. I know they always said always 2 there are, but, like, no one ever explained that there was a rule about it. I honestly think they could have just, like, taken these kids and trained them in the dark side. I mean, they're very young. They're very impressionable. You could have easily just been like, hey, you're not Jedi anymore, you're Sith. And have like a little army of Sith soldiers.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just a dumb move from a like evil takeover plan.
I mean, I know in the comics he has like inquisitors that like hunt down surviving Jedi and their former Jedi that turn to the dark side. So I guess I don't know.
You know who would have made great inquisitors? People who were trained at it from an early age that you corrupted early on. Like these kids. I'm really nitpicking this thing, but I have other things to nitpick.
I agree.
But like, yeah, I think I would give this half a point because I feel like if you combine it all together, like just because like you could really put whatever you want over like the
younglings' faces, and then you see Anakin like knighting the lightsaber, like ready to
that's
destroy
all you
it.
We're killing whatever this thing is.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like
that.
I feel like that's useful.
Yeah,
I don't see it a lot, but I feel like it's useful enough. I give that half a point.
And then the next line, when Palpatine's giving his big speech, the attempt on my life has left me scarred. And I've seen that so often when like people get like minor scrapes or cuts, like someone gets a cut on their arm, and it's like the attempt on my life, or like someone gets like tiny bit slapped, like not even like a full-on punch, like someone gets like lightly slapped. The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed.
I feel like you could especially use this for any like sort of like pets or something. Like what was that one meme about the cat? Like 1,000 years jail for mother kind of thing. Like yeah, like they're just trying to move them with their foot. You kick me? How dare you? 1,000 years of jail for mother. And I feel like it's kind of like that overreaction kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start using that whenever my cats accidentally claw me.
You know what? I'm gonna give that a full point. I think that's actually like, I think that's really good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen it a lot.
I know. I've seen it a few times, but again, it's kind of one of those things like any minor inconvenience or injury, and just use that. It just makes it that much funnier.
It's like anything is an attempt on your life.
Yeah. The one line with Padme, so this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause. That's specific for politics, so like it's a specific meme, so
You could use that outside of it, but it's like under very specific circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if that works.
Only seen that one around election time.
Exactly. That's why I said it's a politics meme.
I really hate the idea of like this could only be used for politics stuff. That like really doesn't help it very much.
Yeah. The next one, there's a funny story.
Like, here's the other thing: it's always the same joke.
Oh yeah.
No matter what it is, it's not like you can like make anything else out of it.
Yeah. The next one, there's a specific story on why I put that on there. I've seen a security hologram of him killing younglings. I read it behind the scenes. Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's laughing.
Yeah,
he can't do it.
Yeah, he can't say, for some reason, he cannot say that line without cracking up. So that was like the best take.
Because it's so stupid. Why didn't you just say children?
I mean, that's what they're called.
No, I really want to ask, like, George Lucas, why is it you can't use the word children for this? Because they've called people...
It makes them sound like animals.
Calling them children makes them sound like animals?
No, younglings.
No, calling them younglings. Like a duckling or something.
I don't know if that's supposed to make it like more sympathetic, less sympathetic. I'm really.
I mean, that's what they're called in the lore. Like when they're not a Padawan yet, they're called younglings. It's just Ewan McGregor, for whatever reason, cannot say that. That's why he put his mouth over his face, because otherwise he would have just started laughing.
I don't get that. I don't know why the word child can't exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of dumb. Like, if you say the words, I saw him killing children, like, how do you laugh at that? We're laughing at the joke where he kills children, but, I don't know.
The next 5 are kind of specific to that whole monologue scene before Anakin and Obi-Wan fight. That's just like corny lines.
It's a back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know that's a monologue.
Yeah, but like when Padme says, "You're breaking my heart," and it's just like, oh, she was
turned
okay.
her against me.
Yeah. It's like you were okay with him when he murdered an entire Tusken Raider tribe. You banged him and got pregnant after that. But now
that got her hot, man.
Yeah, now you're going too far. Yeah. I have waited a long time for this moment during the Palpatine versus Yoda duel. I feel like you could kind of use that with like a big announcement or a big movie comes out, or something like that.
I feel like that's the same thing with the Dooku line from earlier, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I've been looking forward to this. But again, I feel like it's trumped by, this is where the fun begins.
Yeah. Okay, so without a doubt, as far as, memes from the film, for whatever reason, this one is probably the biggest, even bigger than Hello. Well, maybe not as big as Hello there, but it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Like, just... I am
like, it's weird because it feels like it should be such a specific thing to Star Wars, and I really don't know that I've ever seen it outside of its own context, but I think that is just straight up a meme at this point.
Oh, it definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
it's like the one that transcends, like, its own fandom.
And what's funny is that it doesn't make any sense for Obi-Wan to say that, because, again, he beat Maul in the first film when he had the low ground, and same thing with Grievous earlier in the film.
I just watched this. He's like maybe a foot above where Anakin is. He's not that high up for the high ground.
Although I've definitely, like, before the high ground became popular, I definitely saw, "You underestimate my power." Like, that was like that's an old school meme.
That's a meme. 100%.
Yeah.
Give that a point.
Yeah. And then, actually, I take that back. The last one, first off, Padme losing the will to live. Apparently, I found out earlier this year that that's actually a real thing. People can lose the will to live. I did not know that was an actual thing. I thought that was just something that George Lucas pulled out of his ass. But
like, just in context of everything, it feels like an alternative to "I don't want to live on this planet anymore." Like, I'll give that a meme point. I feel like if it hasn't been used a lot, it should be. It's
just like, yeah, I get it. Your husband turned to the dark side, but it's like you just gave birth to twins. You don't want to have the will to take care of your new children?
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I think someone could make a meme about that. You just had twins. She's lost the will to live.
Okay, so yeah, I lied when I said Hello There was the biggest. Yeah, without a doubt, the last one. Vader screaming no, like that. That's easily the biggest one in the film. Like, just
I'm gonna give it the full point, I think. But for more of the, like, just the ridiculousness of its own nature, like,
I mean, I've seen it so many times where like something unpopular is announced or something bad happens and just cue that.
I feel like you could also easily use Luke for that, though. Where he says, "I am your father." He's like, "No!" Like, I feel like there's so many good, like, times where in movies where someone screamed no.
I think
Why is Vader so, like, I think the reason Vader is so memeable because it should not be coming out of him.
Yeah, exactly. Like Luke, it makes sense. He just found out the most evil man in the galaxy is his dad. Like, he's been told that, oh no, they like this man killed your father, and it's like, well, wait, what? So yeah, it's a big shock to him, and then with Vader, like, people have been waiting so long, years at that point, to figure out how he became, the man in the suit. You get James Earl Jones to come back to do the voice. And what do? They do that.
And it's a really, really long one. I don't know if it's the combination of the voice and the fact that they have to kind of put it through a bit of a processing thing to make it a little more robotic and that.
Do you know they actually added that to the Blu-ray of Return of the Jedi?
What?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, right. They add him yelling no whenever he throws whenever he grabs the... Yeah. No,
yeah, that's my favorite moment in Star Wars history and it's so beautiful because originally you didn't need any words to go what was on his mind. And
there's other things they fucked up with some dialogue there. Like whenever there was in the original right after Luke jumps and Vader's leaving, they changed it in like the remake to like some sort of like long thing is like inform this person of blah blah blah,
yeah,
yada yada yada. But in the original, he just says ready my ship, and he's like just pissed.
Yeah,
and, like,
I don't know why they changed that. Yeah,
it's such a better line.
Well, funny enough too,
it imparts so much more.
In the '97 when it was first re-released, for some reason when Luke was falling, they added Palpatine's scream for when he fell down the shaft and Return of the Jedi to Luke. But then in all other re-releases, they cut that out. I don't know why.
I think they realized it was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this is weird.
But yeah, I remember seeing the original version of that film years ago, but I completely forgot about that line change until recently. That line works so much better. Just prepare my ship. Like, just, yeah, you're right. Like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah, iconic.
Okay. I'm counting up here, I think the ones that we've counted for full points and half points. I think we got 19.5 points for Revenge of the Sith.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What are we thinking the number one is? Because like I feel like the top contenders are definitely no, I have the high ground, and this whole operation.
I would also put Hello There up there as well because that one's really popular.
On the one hand, I'm like, I know it's popular, but at the other time, I feel like the other two, maybe not high ground as much. But like, I feel like no is a perfect reaction to anything. And I think it really works well. And I think this whole operation is extremely versatile. High ground and Hello There, I think, are kind of on the same level of like usefulness, but high ground is one of those things that kind of like transcended itself for whatever reason and just became its own thing. So that's kind of why I would say like Hello There is not in the same league as the other three.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to hear arguments otherwise.
I mean, I guess as far as like longevity and iconic statue, I think no was probably the first meme that came out of the film. It's one of like it's one of the oldest internet memes from what I remember, at least in the days of YouTube, like that.
Yeah, because like it's a bit of like because it really is a joke more than anything else. Like, I know memes are jokes, but this is a joke that people used. And, like, honestly, you'd probably say before anyone defined anything as a meme before. So...
Yeah, this whole operation is your idea. That's a great line, and you're right, that has so much potential.
It's definitely the most versatile meme that came out of this, but at the same time, it's very recent. I feel like it only kind of came about kind of as a result of, like, there's been a bit of a resurgence of people watching these movies again. Which I think is a result of the sequel trilogy having come out and finished, and people are, like, re-looking at the prequels and being like, maybe they weren't so bad.
Well, you also have people that are our age that, well, I didn't grow up watching the prequel trilogy, but I'm sure you and Cece grew up watching these films. And so, like, you're adults now.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have fond memories of them.
I saw Phantom Menace when I was, like, 7 years old, and I told you guys this, but, like, yeah, out in the garage, my dad had, like, a... one of those, like, broomsticks or something that you, like, attach, like, a paint roller to for when you trying to get it high up on a wall, and I was like, well, guess what? I'm Darth Maul now. And, like, backyard, driveway, whatever, I'm swinging that thing around.
I was 4 years old, and I was obsessed with Padme.
You know, I'm gonna say, like, Yin's not here, but they definitely loved Padme a lot, too. I know they've told me, like,
I thought you said, Cece, your crush was Venom and Darth Maul, though.
Those were my first monster crushes.
You had a crush on Darth Maul?
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, then. Changing that subject.
I mean, Ray Park's not a bad-looking guy out of costume.
You know what?
I don't know what he looks like out of costume.
He's Toad from X-Men.
That's the X-Men.
Okay,
Toad from Mario? I know that Toad.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no. I don't get the whole Darth Maul thing, but I certainly understand getting a crush out of, like, some of these, like, early things he had. Like, I had a crush on Padme, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah. Babyface Ewan McGregor. Clean-shaven little rat tail.
I don't know about that version, but at this point in my life, it'd be like, you know what? I'll take either version of bearded McGregor. I'll take Jesus version, or I don't know. How do you describe him in this one with the shorter haircut?
Basically, Alec Guinness, just younger, like literally 20 years younger than Alec Guinness. Like, even though Alec Guinness was like in his 70s whenever he made. I mean, I don't know how old Alec Guinness was, but like obviously
somewhere in the 60s, 70s, yeah.
Yeah, but like in 20 years, Ewan McGregor turns from that to Alec Guinness. So. Those twin sons, man.
Here's the thing. It's almost been 20 years since this movie came out. It's like 15 or... It's almost 15 years. Ewan McGregor does not look that different.
No.
He really doesn't.
No.
Like...
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bit of a stretch now to think, like... This is sort of like that thing with, like, the X-Men prequel sequel movies. Because, like, you have Patrick Stewart in the first movie, which came out in 99, which is supposed to be present day. And then you have, like, we're going to have, like, X-Men Days of Future Past, which is set back in, like, the 60s. And, okay, so you can be, oh, God, I'm forgetting his name. James McAvoy. And so that's fine. But then you get up to, like, some of their sequels, and it's like, I think it's still James McAvoy in... the most recent version of that, which was Dark Phoenix or something, which is set in the 90s. So in less than 10 years, he's going to go from James McAvoy to Patrick Stewart. And I'm like, I don't know what happened to you in this, like, 5-year span, but it was bad.
He had twins and lost the world.
That's pretty good. I do have to ask, because, you know, we were limiting ourselves to one movie, but I think, you know, we should have a moment to kind of talk about some of the memes that we weren't allowed to use from maybe some of the other prequel movies.
I don't like sand.
Pop out to me.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I hate to say it, I feel like you were right in picking Revenge of the Sith for, like, the most memed, the most, like, memes per pound. movie, but the biggest meme was the sand thing because of how dumb it fucking was. You can literally put it in anywhere. Anytime you see sand, I don't like sand.
Well, here's the thing too. Two comments. One, that's his idea of like sparking romance, and number two, he's 100% right. I hate sand, in real life.
Here's the thing. It's not just his idea of romantic conversation, because Padme clearly made out with him afterwards. Clearly, there's something about talking about sand that gets her going too. I don't know what that says about anyone involved, but none of it's good. Also, there was that recent one that came out with the two of them in the field or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it's called, right? But that. You're gonna do that, right?
Something, right?
yeah. I've seen so many of that. Yeah,
it's been big lately.
And then I used to. I don't want to blow out the mic because I won't say it now, but I used to reenact the infamous "I slaughtered them like animals" scene to my friends. Like, I went deep into character. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I'm not gonna do that now.
Probably went deeper into character than he did.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a meme, but I don't know. It's very dark and a little difficult to be making light.
I mean, there's definitely been dark memes before.
No, yeah,
that's true.
And
I feel like the Phantom Menace had one or two that were just lines that were kind of like the no thing or in the sand thing, where they're just so ridiculous.
I mean, Qui-Gon said there's always a bigger fish. I mean, that became a little bit popular.
Yeah. Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
trying to think. There's something with what's his face?
I can't remember if anyone's ever used the ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Oh yeah, people have used that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole concept of Jar Jar.
Jar Jar is the key to all this.
He's a Sith Lord. I'm not going to go into the thing. I could save it for a different time. I have a whole thing about it, but
I forget what I have the DVDs of the prequel trilogy, and I saw the behind the scenes features of all of them. I forget which movie the behind the scenes feature was, but there's a George Lucas quote that's it's like poetry. It rhymes. I've seen that used a lot.
I don't know about which one he said that for. He probably said it in the beginning, because he was also saying Jar Jar is the key to everything. I
actually take that back. I think it was Attack of the Clones, because he said,
I guess that makes sense.
He wanted Attack of the Clones to feel a lot like Empire Strikes Back with its dark tone and the romance subplot, but Han and Leia had somewhat of a chemistry going on, whereas Anakin and Padme didn't.
I mean, it's Harrison Ford. You're gonna have chemistry. That's not difficult to figure out what was working there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what else do we have anything else to say about this? I know we were mostly talking about the memes, and we talked a little bit about the movie, so that's kind of covers, I guess, our general thing for what we normally do.
There was a lot more in here than I realized. Memes, I mean.
A lot of it, I'm really trying to you mainly remember the big ones, this was your the whole operation was your idea or something like that, or this is where the fun begins. But yeah, there's sometimes you remember, this was a thing for a little bit, or this was used a lot here and there. I kind of wonder, because I feel like if this come out today as opposed to in 2007, which was right as YouTube was starting to kind of get a little bigger, I think this might have been memed way more.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where the kids that grew up watching the prequel trilogy and grew up with the internet at least the modern version of the internet and the modern version of meme culture, or the beginning of meme culture, and then so they went through the early meme cycle, and now they're making everything there's people that genuinely love the films, and there's also people that genuinely love to make fun of the films. So it's a little happy medium.
I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like in another
also had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
There's so many good memes that could come out of this. People are sleeping on it.
Yeah.
And I personally think that in another 15 to 20 years, the same thing's going to happen with the sequel trilogy. There's some sequel trilogy memes out there, but I feel like the people that are kids that grew up watching 7, 8, and 9 are basically going to do the same thing that's happening with the prequel trilogy now.
I'm going to be really interested to see whether you're right or not about that, because
people...
I'm trying to look at all of them objectively.
Keep in mind, the prequel trilogy was considered blasphemous by so many people. Like, it ruined Star Wars. This is not my Star Wars. George Lucas does not know what he's doing. These stories are trash. They ruin the characters.
Here's the thing for me, and I think this is why that happened on both of these occasions. I don't think any one Star Wars movie is nearly as good as everybody remembers it. I think as a whole, everyone has this sort of image of what Star Wars is, and it's individual to everybody, but it's a very lofty, on a pedestal image if you're a Star Wars fan. And looking back at everything, I think Star Wars as a universe as a whole is greater than the sum of any of its parts.
I mean, yeah, my favorite film in the franchise, Return of the Jedi, and it's far from a perfect film. So yeah, I agree.
None of these are perfect movies. The
closest.
Some of them have really good stuff. That's probably the closest to that's probably the best one. It's probably the most competently made. It's got a lot of really good stuff, especially in the character department. But if you're looking for it being like an action movie, it's actually not that action packed or something like that. You probably have to look for Revenge of the Sith for that. If you were looking for, it really depends on what you're looking for. It is where you're going to find your favorite movie, because there's so many of them at this point. But yeah, everyone's always like, oh, this is going to be bad for it, or this does that, or this isn't what's supposed to happen. Really look back and try to look without goggles. None of these are perfect movies.
No.
Before or after the originals. Doesn't really matter what. But yeah, I think and I try to remove that a little bit. I try to go into a lot of things with an open mind about stuff, and just sort of I'm not going to judge it going forward. I'm just gonna watch it, let it kind of flow over me a little bit and see how I feel about it. And probably the best ones were the originals, because I feel like a lot of people were working on them and working together in a good way. I feel like the prequels had the issue of it was just kind of one guy not really listening to anyone else, even if he had a lot of good ideas. And I think the sequels we're listening to too many people now.
No, there was no definitive plan. There was no Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams can say all they want. They did not plan that last film out.
They didn't plan anything, and everything was based on how the audience reacted to the last one. It's like the sequel and prequel trilogies have the exact opposite problems. You either have one person controlling everything and not taking any notes from anyone, or you have no plan and everyone's taking notes from every possible source, whether good or bad. And then you have the original in the middle, which was probably the most competently made ones, because it's okay, we have a central idea that we're trying to go through the whole thing. We're listening to stuff. We're not listening to other stuff. We're collaborating. We're going back and forth. And had they gone and made the other trilogies the same way, just from a filmmaking standpoint, I think we would have seen a lot more consistency as far as good filmmaking goes.
Yeah.
Not to say that sequels are bad or the prequels are bad. Everything's a little bit bad in their own right. You look at the original Star Wars, or if you want to call it A New Hope or Episode 4 or just Star Wars, it's pretty fucking basic. And a lot of it is a ripoff of a whole bunch of other movies that we could make a list of.
I mean, George Lucas himself said that he thought the film was going to bomb, so...
I'm sure a lot of people did. A lot of people at the first screening hated it.
I mean, that's why Alec Guinness famously didn't... He had a salary, but he famously said, you know what, just give me the shares. Give me a percentage of the shares of the profits. He did not expect it to be that popular. And so when it did, he raked in the money.
Well, yeah, and George Lucas had the foresight to be I want all the merchandising rights. That's probably the smartest decision he made in his entire life. That's probably the decision anyone made.
I remember
in Hollywood.
I watched a video today. Someone made he actually made the decision to air up until, the new films when they came out on Christmas time. But for the first 6 films, he wanted those films to come out around Memorial Day because he wanted kids to go see them and then talk about them in school with kids. And you know what? That's actually really brilliant.
I mean, yeah, and I think that absolutely makes sense, especially for the time that they came out in, because you didn't have like the internet and all this other sort of stuff. I think nowadays, well, one, I think you see so many releases at the end of the year because of Oscar bait, for one thing. So you're going to have a lot of stuff that comes out at the end of the year that is a little bit of jerk off into the camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Christmas movies and stuff that also comes out. But like, when you think about it, that leaves a very wide audience for something that's supposed to be like a populist kind of like popcorn movie like Star Wars to come out. That's perfect because nothing else is that.
Yeah, I still remember being in college, sophomore year or no, junior year, and when that film came out, I remember I was in class in the computer lab, ignoring the lecture, going online and buying the tickets once they became available. I was like, I've waited my whole life to see a Star Wars film in the theaters, and because I missed out on Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and technically I saw the Clone Wars film in theaters, but I'm not going to count that. So like, this is like the first true Star Wars film I'm going to see in theaters.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I thought you said you saw Revenge of the Sith first. Now you're saying you saw Attack of the Clones in theaters?
No, the Clone Wars film.
Oh, Clone Wars film. Okay.
Yeah,
that one was animated, right?
They had a TV.
Right. The slug
It was basically a TV pilot movie that they pushed into theaters for no good reason.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's just kind of basic. But anyway, I technically did see Phantom Menace in 3D, but like again, that's a film that came out before.
That came out way later.
Yeah, but so like Force Awakens was you remember CC how hyped I was for that film, and I just so seeing it like after during Christmas break, that was I'll never forget seeing that film in theaters.
Yeah. No, I do remember when this movie came out, and yeah, I didn't get to go see it early on, but I had a friend who lived on my street who did get to go see it at like the midnight premiere. And I was like, wow, you're so lucky you get to go to see a movie like on a school night, like beforehand and whatnot. And he was very tired the next day, but he was like, oh my God, you need to do a little bit of that. Like, you know. So yeah, I think George Lucas certainly had an idea, but like beyond that, like I said the thing about the, there's no competition in December for a populist movie, but beyond that, like nowadays people don't really like go to talk with their friends. They just go to talk online about stuff. So partially it doesn't matter when you bring something out. It doesn't really matter what schedules are going to be, but end of the year when most people are like home for a lot, especially in the wintertime when people might not want to go out as much, it's perfect time for people to go online and just bitch about a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but yeah.
When episode in what was it?
15.
The
the
one you were just talking about. The one came out in college.
Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah, that one. When that one came out, it was what, 3 or 4 months before our usual home convention. And I was this close to submitting a panel about why the prequels weren't as bad as you remember and why the originals weren't quite as good as you remember and why you're projecting those onto the new ones.
I feel like this is what I just said a couple minutes ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You should have done that panel. I'd have done it. I'd have helped you out with it.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I had.
All right, we got anything else to say about these? I feel like we've covered memes. We've covered a little bit of plot that there is. We've discussed the fandom. I mean, I don't know where else we can go with this conversation.
Next year we review Spaceballs.
I don't want to hear a bad word about Spaceballs whatsoever.
Spaceballs is like one of my favorite comedies ever, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I like that.
We'll do the movies that are memes, so like Spaceballs. It's the one that's
I don't know. That's a meme. It's just
Star Trek.
It's a good,
it's a parody
Galaxy
film.
Quest. Parody film is, I think, different like than a meme. I don't like. I think part of the thing of a meme is like, was this intended to be funny? If so, then it's a joke. If it's not intended to be funny, but is funny anyway, I think that's where the real memes come from. Like, absolutely no one intended that big no to be funny. And yet, here we are talking about it because it is an enormous joke that was never meant to be.
Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest. That is I don't think I've ever met a single person who did not enjoy that movie, who saw it.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And I don't... That one's supposed to be Star Trek, right?
Yeah, it's the best Star Trek movie. Hands down.
I've never seen Star Trek, but, like, I really liked that one.
I've seen people, like, I forget who it was. It was one of the captains. It was either Patrick Stewart or William Shatner, who was like, this is the best Star Trek movie, and I'm pissed that I'm not in it.
I feel like that'd be Shatner.
It might have been Stewart. He's way funnier than people think.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that is true.
Because, like, Shatner actually directed some Star Trek films.
Yeah, so. Most infamously 5.
Yeah, the one where they met God. Why does God need a spaceship? Yeah. I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about Star Wars?
Nah.
Yeah. You know, I will say one thing. This is kind of funny because that one, I forget when it was, but like that one year where we did, in December, we did Clone Wars, and this is right where that left off.
Yeah, the Genndy Tartakovsky one, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice continuation there. Anywho, next week, let's talk next week. We got 3 more memeable movies, and we're covering another of a third entry for a trilogy. It's Spider-Man 3, Dawn of Emo Peter, whatever you want to...
It's Bully Maguire now. That's what the internet is called. Bully Maguire?
You know what? We'll discuss it more in depth when we're there next week. Yeah.
So the score to win is 20, right?
19.5, because I think we're counting like half points for...
19.5 will tie it. They need 20 to win.
So yeah, okay, they need 20 to win, and we'll see how that all shakes out next week. I have high hopes. It's definitely the funniest Spider-Man movie, intentionally or otherwise, but will it have the memes? Will it have the memes? All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!